Today it's time to finish up a few more to-do items with my new Kei truck. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Talon and I make new videos every single week. So if you like what you see here, consider clicking subscribe. I brought you guys a video on my 1994 Honda Acti just a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned in that video that there were still a few little things that I wanted to get done. So I'm down here today at True Automotive, and I think after today, everything will be pretty much dialed in perfect working order. The thing that we're going to be fixing first is kind of tricky, and that's because of the model of this. This is a 1994 Honda Acti Attack, which has a low first gear, a low reverse gear, a rear locking diff, and if I climb underneath here, 3 of the 4 CV boots back here are completely ripped and torn, and finding parts like this for this vehicle is a little bit difficult. Now, I am, of course, mainly sourcing these parts from Japan, and communicating with buyers over there is not always the easiest thing because I don't speak Japanese. But I've got a bunch of parts here, and we're gonna try 1 or 2 different things. The first thing would be just replacing the boots. So I have inner and outer boots for each side of the rear. However, if we pull things apart and I realize that it is no good, I do have some used CVs here. They are not rebuilt, but they are in pretty decent condition. So all the boots are intact, and if for some reason we can't reboot the ones that are on the truck already, we'll throw these on, and I think they'll be okay. I need to make sure that these splines will work with both the low first and the low reverse gear, so that is going to be the main plan. I also picked up a set of wheel spacers that will give the wheels just a little bit more space, or I should say the tires, because inside of here the tires are very close to the front suspension. I really don't want the wheels and tires to poke out like crazy, but it would be good to give that a little more space in the front. I got 4, so we could do it all the way around and make it a little bit more stancy. I also picked up a little maintenance kit in here, which has, I believe, a water pump, fuel filter, oil filter, and things like that. So I may do an oil change as well. This thing only takes I don't even think it's 3 quarts of oil. So that's the plan. Let's get it into the shop and see if we can even fit this tiny little truck on a lift. Now, one thing that's always fun to mess around with is getting a tiny truck like this on a lift. It is mid-engine. The engine sits right about here. So we're gonna try like this.
The wheels are off the ground.
Yeah. It looks so goofy. It seems solid.
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
Look at that travel. Woo. All right, now we have a better view inside of here. This one is destroyed. Inside, this one is destroyed, and all 4 of them are actually destroyed. Be careful lifting that tire off. I know you're used to taking 37s off of Toyotas and things like that. Cute. It's like a basketball. All right, we're working on getting these axles out, and Billy determined the best course of action would just be to pull the brake lines at this point because everything here is solid. So we undid the U-bolts and the little bump stop that sits on top of the leaf pack, removed the rear shock bolt, and now with that entire thing removed and the brake line pinched off, we should be able to pull it off from this side, air hammer it out, install the new ones, put the brakes back on, and then just quickly bleed them This is all new to me. Have you ever worked on a Kei truck? This is new to Billy too. So we're learning as we go here. So after a little bit of fighting, we pulled out the whole rear axle, torsion bar, whatever you want to call it. We were able to get the old CVs out. You can see how messed up these were. I don't know how long it's been like that, but it was like that when I bought the truck. So now we got some used but new to me axles that we're going to try to fit in here, and then hopefully we can reassemble everything without too much of a fight. It does seem pretty extensive to pull the brakes and like pinch off the brake line and everything, but that seemed to be the easiest way for us to get the old axles out. They don't make them like they used to. So dropping the tube axle was definitely the move. We got the new used but new CVs in there, and I think that saved us a lot of time. So now we're bolting the U-bolts back up, bump stops, rear shocks, and we'll put the hub assembly back on, bleed the brakes after all the lines are attached, and then little wheel spacers here. The rear doesn't really matter much on this. These are mainly going to be for the front. Even with the suspension at full droop here, you can see just how freaking close that is. So you can imagine when the wheel is more upright, it is very, very close in here. Not rubbing the tire, but it'll give me a little bit of peace of mind if we can push that whole wheel and tire just a little bit further away from the shocks. So I ended up not running these wheel spacers because these studs are a little too long and they run into the back side of the wheel when they're mounted up, which is not a huge deal. They are not rubbing in the front. It's just a little too close for comfort. I could have cut down the factory studs on the truck, but I don't know if I can ever find studs or like the hub assembly again. So for now, not going to run these. And also while the truck's in the air, I replaced the air filter because I got a tune-up kit from Willpower Performance, and eventually I will do the fuel filter and an oil change as well. But CVs are in, and once we get it back on the ground, everything should seat up really nicely and should not be slinging grease everywhere. Brake reservoir is actually located in the cab right here on the driver's side. Kind of interesting. I like my leather wrap job in here, freshy interior. Good. Now, while I have the truck here at True in good hands with Billy, we're gonna just do a little bit more preventative maintenance stuff. I have an oil filter, so might as well do an oil change. I'm not exactly sure when it was done, but I'm pretty sure the truck was serviced in Japan before it was brought over here. So there was a Japanese sticker on the door, it's still there, where I believe it says the timing belt was done at around 19,000 kilometers. The truck's at like 42 now. So we're gonna pop the cover off and check that out. I've got the oil filter for that change. I have a magnetic drain plug as well, so it'll catch any shavings, just kind of preventative stuff. And then the fuel filter too. All of the belts, the tensioner and everything can be found right in here with what looks like just some snap clips. Oh yeah, that definitely looks like they were in here. So looking at the drive belt, you can see that it's in really good condition. Probably fine then. Seems like this was in a shop before it was imported where they did a lot of this stuff. So you got an OE Honda filter. The oil didn't look too bad. Definitely do, but just peace of mind doing all this stuff now. Drain bolt is right here. Filter is in the front over here. And then the fill is back here. A lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but it's common for people to mistake that fill, the oil fill, for fuel. Don't fill the back with fuel. Fuel cap is over here by the driver's door. Doesn't look metallic-y, which is nice. Now for the fuel filter, there's little plastic tabs that you squeeze, and then you'll lift this out of the cradle. Found right behind the fuel tank over here.
Smells like it's been sitting for a little bit.
Cool. And just like that, we are back on the road. It's amazing how just some routine maintenance items can make an old vehicle like this feel maybe not new, but it just breathes new life into it. The rear end feels a lot more solid. There's no clicking or play in those CVs, which is nice. And I actually took the CVs that we just took off of this truck and dropped them off at a local company that rebuilds them. So it's kind of expensive, but I'm going to have both of them rebuilt. That way I have some extra sets for the future. And the ones that we just put on this truck were not even rebuilt. They were just takeoffs of an Acti somewhere in Japan. The attack trim CV axles are really hard to find, specifically for the rear, like I talked about. So I figured might as well just pay the price, have them rebuilt, and then I'll have some spare axles for the future. We also swapped out the air filter, fuel filter, put new oil in it, new oil filter, a magnetic drain plug. That way it will hopefully grab onto any metal shavings. Although when we drained the oil, it looked pretty clean. It definitely needed to be changed, but no fragments of metal in there, so that's nice. I'm at 43,000 kilometers on this truck, and all the belts and everything that we checked looked good. This thing is in really great condition, and I don't really think there's much more maintenance items to take care of until I put a lot more miles on this thing. So pretty happy with how everything turned out. And I think the next thing to do will be just take this thing out on an adventure. Test out these low range gears, maybe test out the locker, do a little camp trip, something like that. We'll see how it goes. If you guys want to see some more Kei Truck content in the future, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to bring you anything that I might be doing with this vehicle. And if you have any ideas of things that you want to see me do with this truck, let me know. I really plan on just kind of daily driving it, using it as a truck to haul things around in the bed, of course. And I am stoked to have this thing in the side garage lineup. Huge thanks to Billy and the guys at True Automotive for getting this thing all dialed in. Check them out if you're in Denver and you need any kind of auto maintenance done, modifications and things like that. They help me out a lot with all my vehicles, and I'm sure they can help you guys out too. That's all that I've got for now. So if you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. As always, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.